What if I told you that your story could change someone's life? Would you share it? Emerging Beyond.
Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Emerging Beyond with me, your host, Asir. Welcome to the show. We have a very exciting show for you today. Our guest today is the reigning 2018 Miss Georgia Plus America Delegate at Large. And she is the founder of Renew My Soul LLC. But that's not all there is to our guest. She is also a 39-year-old virgin. That's right. So when we come back from our break, you will meet this person.
So, I was appointed, chosen, and selected to represent the state of Georgia. First of all, my name is Nicole Wilson. Good evening. And I was, again, chosen, appointed, selected to represent the state of Georgia as Miss Plus America for 2018. Now, some people may be wondering, right? Like, who the heck, like, what the heck, like, how did you become queen, right? Overnight. That's just how my God gets down. But I digress.
Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Emerging Beyond. Now, as I stated to you, we have a treat. We have Miss Nicole Wilson here with us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
And
me.
as you can see, she is the reigning Miss Georgia Plus America for 2018.
Thank you.
So tell us about that pageant.
Oh my gosh, it was the most intense experience that I've ever had. I've never been in a pageant, and that's a story in itself, how I came to be Miss Georgia Plus America 2018 Delegate at Large. But the actual pageant this past July, it was just amazing. I met so many beautiful souls.
Well, go back. Okay. For those of you that have only heard of the Miss America pageant, the Miss Universe pageant, tell us what exactly the Miss Georgia Plus America pageant
So it's actually titled, the system is entitled Miss Plus America, and it is a system that was established by Melissa Stanford. She was a former beauty queen and just wanted women, especially full-figured women, to feel embrace their beauty and to feel confident and be able to just showcase it, if you will. And also she was very passionate and is very passionate about service. So that's how that brainchild started. It was in the mind of Miss Melissa Stanford in 2003. And since the ownership took place, it was transferred over to a lady named Marcella Myers.
Okay. So we're going to start off with a little bit of your background, and then we're going to kind of emerge into how you became Miss Georgia Plus America.
Okay.
So let's start off with where you're from.
Originally, I am from a small town in Kentucky, Georgetown, Kentucky.
Country girl.
Yes, born and raised, and I'm proud of it.
So you're from Kentucky. How did you end up here in Atlanta?
So after graduate school, I was just kind of praying about like what direction to take, what kind of how to enter into the workforce, if you will.
And you went to Kentucky State.
I did. That is my alma mater, my undergrad, green and gold thoroughbred. I love my HBCU, and then I also went to the University of Kentucky, and my last stop was UGA.
Okay, UGA. Okay, so college eventually brought you here.
Yes.
Okay, and Atlanta is your home now.
Yes, I've been here since 2004. Oh my gosh, time flies.
So let's talk about, you do a lot of work with youth. You also are an advocate for domestic violence, against domestic violence, as well as you're into psychology.
Yes.
Okay, so how much of that played a part into you being a virgin? Let's just get right into it.
How much did my background
Yes.
and like just experiencing things?
The whole, most people when they actually take on a cause, it's because the cause is relevant to them. It is something that has happened to them or happened to someone that they know. So let's just break.
Well, and I think it's only now as an adult that I'm starting to realize all the more, with the whole Me Too movement and all of the experiences that women have statistically. At the age of 4, I believe it was about 3 or 4, that I was fondled. I was essentially molested. And I didn't realize, I don't think growing up, the impact that it had. And I still don't think I fully realized. But I still think that I still have a lot of strengths. And have gone through a lot of processes, if you will, counseling, if you will, to be able to stand here and stand victoriously.
So you being a psychology major, basically it was because you wanted to be able to indulge into not only what happened to you, but to be able to help someone else that may have
Certainly.
issues
I have
from
always,
childhood.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
You're fine.
I have always been someone who's been a listening ear. You know how they say with the Myers-Briggs test, your personality and what type of career you would potentially walk in. They always, say, well, are you helping? Are you a helper? I grew up with a mom who was a nurse. She's in the helping profession. I've always been someone who's passionate and the listening ear to my friends. And so that has always been a part of me. And so I guess with the experiences that I just shared, coupled with those experiences, and just having a heart for people, humanity.
So like you said, you can remember as young as 4.
That experience that I just shared
That
with you.
experience happened to you. So as a child, were you more reserved?
I was very reserved.
Very reserved.
Yes, I was
shy.
actually, and people don't believe this when I tell them this, and this is how, to be honest, it's nothing but God's glory, because you can go from being very shy, like me doing all of this, I never would have seen myself do this, to be honest, I see it. But yeah, like I was very shy, very soft-spoken, very timid, and so I've been free from a lot of things.
So do you think that's a whole part of why you're a virgin now? I mean, we're in a society right now where statistically most youth lose their virginity at the age of 17. That's what they're saying. 16.9 for a boy might as well be 17, and 17.2 for a girl may as well be 17.
Correct.
So that's what they're saying statistically. But you've held on to your virginity for 39 years. And I guess what I'm trying to get to is in the society that we're in right now, where it's all about social media and the internet. Most of our youth can find out whatever they want to find out just at a click of their fingers on their cell phone. And even myself, I did this last night just to kind of find out how much information was on the web as far as maintaining your celibacy versus going to YouTube, and there's all types of youth talking about how I gave away my virginity. So going back, was the fact that you had been molested a big part of you just being so reserved that you're just like, I'm just afraid to let anyone get close to me?
I think that it probably did play a role in me maintaining my celibacy or keeping my virginity. Like I said, I was just extremely shy and very awkward as a child, and I don't think people knew that, because I think sometimes shy people and introverted people, we can kind of mask it to a certain extent. So I was as adapted as possible. I mean, I was a part of sports. I played music, I played instruments. Even in college, I sang in a choir. So, but I still had an element of being timid and shy. But I've always, I've had, men friend, things of that nature. So I don't think I was so overly bashful to the point, where it was extremely abnormal. But I would say, to answer your question, that it did play a part, probably. Yeah.
Because sometimes you just want to know what the underlying aspect is, because like I said, we're in a society now where it's all about followers and likes, and you're just showcasing for the world to see, and here you are, you're just saying, hey, I want to talk to women through my foundation. As you guys saw the footage during the break, whereas you are talking to, there's like a couple of young ladies with you, and you're pretty much trying to say, hey, it's okay for you to still maintain until you're married.
And let me just say this, it has taken me to age 39 to really own my truth, to really sit in and embrace the fact that I am a virgin. Because for so long I would just be like, it's something I do, and I know it's hard to believe, but I have friends and I have people that I associate with and know, men and women, that are virgins at older ages. But when I was starting the movement, I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this movement. I'd like for you to maybe consider joining forces with me, be a part of this movement. They're like, we like what you're doing. That's awesome. But we're not interested in doing that. And so it kind of discouraged me, but I realized that I had to embrace my truth. I had to stand alone, even if it meant standing alone. In order to go forth, I had to get to a place in my mind to celebrate it in order to celebrate it with others. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I'm going to ask you this question, and then we're going to go into the break. Some people would say, and you don't have to answer, you can answer it when we come back. Some people would say that a virgin means that someone has never been untouched. And because of the fact that you did have that situation of being molested, then some would say, technically, your virginity was taken from you, that you are not actually in the purest form of virginity. I'll let you answer that when we come right back from the break. Thank you for tuning in to Emerging Beyond, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. We are here with Miss Nicole Wilson. She is the reigning 2018 Miss Georgia Plus America. That's right, and you have to make sure you say all of that, delegate at large as well. Well, once again, we'd like to thank you for the show. And before we went to the break, I asked Miss Nicole Wilson a question. Most people would say that if you've been molested, then you're not truly a virgin. And so the question that I asked her was to make sure she clarified that for our viewers. And can you answer that?
Sure. So I'm not sure the detailed Merriam-Webster's definitions, but from my understanding of like fondling and molestation, it's something that's inappropriate. You've been violated in some way, and that's what happened to me. I wasn't necessarily any type of penetration per se.
And some may ask that question, let me hold you at that. Have you ever been penetrated or touched or had any type of sexual
let's just go there
with a woman?
Not with a woman, no, I have not. But I have been in relationship with men, and I have had my experiences, and I've had to learn from those experiences. But as far as actual intercourse in any way, I have not.
Do you tell them when you're first dating with you, when you're first in a date, when you're on a date? Let me correct that. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited about this question because I know as a woman, it is kind of hard to lay your cards on the table in the very beginning. For you, do you lay your cards on the table in the very beginning and say, this is not going to go down until I'm married or I'm ready?
Right. It's been a part of my journey, to be honest, in the process of me owning my truth and standing in it. To be honest, I've been afraid, right? Because we all know in that place, well, will I say too much? Will I intimidate him? Will I, whatever, will he stay around? And I just had to get to the place where I'm like, you know what? This is who I am. This is what I stand for. And if they're not, I hate to say strong enough, or if I'm not their cup of tea in that way, then that's fine.
What's their reaction when you say? Do you say it at the very beginning when you're dating?
I don't. I mean,
wait?
I have probably in my journey, because I'm 39, about to be 40. But in my journey, like I said, my progression and my learning of how it's a delicate dance, dating and all this. I have learned to. It's a finesse and it's an art. So at some point, it's going to be addressed, But I just don't do it out the gate necessarily.
Not in the heat of the moment?
No, we're not getting to the heat of the moment, because I've learned also that you have to set boundaries. Yeah, because as passionate as I am about waiting into marriage, and I've been done it a while, I also know that when you are in the heat of the moment and chemistry and all that's happening, and you can say one thing, but your body is saying another, and let's keep that real. So
yes, it is. So what is their reaction?
Oftentimes I get, oh, that's awesome, queen, I respect that a lot. And I think my frustration in the beginning was being put on a pedestal. I mean, I know I'm a queen, but I don't want to be put on a shelf. I don't want to be put on a pedestal to never, really be related with, be relatable, if you will, be interacted with. I feel like we're all adults and we can conduct ourselves in a respectable way, and we can put up boundaries. And I have had that with men, so.
Amazing. You wrote a book about it.
Yes, I wrote a book called 100% Virgin, and it is in process of being available for pre-order.
Good.
And it is set to more than likely be released at the end of the year.
So we're going to give out that information at the end of the show, but tell me what you have in this box.
Okay, so in my crown box,
this is where you keep your crown at night on the nightstand beside your bed.
My crown box with all the sparkles, right?
It's beautiful. Do you keep it on your nightstand?
I don't. I don't. But I do keep it in a secure place. And I simply have just a lot of padding to protect it, because it's such a heavy is the crown that we wear on our head, right? So, but I just mainly have some padding in here. I also have my cards. My card. It's not very pretty, that's why I didn't show that part of it.
100% virgin. And we're not talking about hair.
And then I also have, like I said, never been in a pageant. Asir.
We're going to get to that. I am excited about that part of it.
So I am very proud of my second runner-up.
Pink is
banner. I don't know if everybody can see that.
Pink is a girl's best friend other than diamonds. May I see that, please?
Woo. Yes. Looks beautiful.
I want mine to say first place.
Right.
That's beautiful.
So,
beautiful. And let's see this one.
The one that I have on now?
Yes.
Yes. Miss Georgia Plus.
With the little crown here.
Yes. This is given to us at the pageant.
Are you excited that you're going to be passing on the torch?
I am. I'm excited about my reign, though. I don't want to pass it on so soon.
And you had to learn how to walk.
I did. And shout out to an amazing pageant coach. Her name is Arlissa Moore. Shout out to her. She's amazing. She helped me through this process. So I learned to walk.
You did.
With her help.
Mm-hmm. We're going to talk more about the pageant after we see this.
Most importantly, I get the opportunity to advance my platform, which is purity, wholeness, and purpose. And so I want to share a little bit about myself. My story is this. Much of my life growing up in Kentucky, I was extremely shy, like painstakingly shy. I didn't think people really wanted to hear what I had to say. I kind of wanted to just fade into the background, just blend in. I felt awkward. I really had a lot of body issues and image issues, and I didn't like myself. I can be honest about that. I really didn't like myself. And I was just sharing this with a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, I didn't know that. I said, yeah. I couldn't find really anything to say I liked about myself. I compared myself to others around me. I didn't think I was skinny enough. I didn't think I was light enough. Interestingly enough, right? Because I am kind of fair, but I really didn't think I was light enough. I didn't think my hair was long enough. I didn't feel enough. And in a world where women are already made to feel less than or marginalized if they don't fit a certain mold, and especially women of color, it made it hard for me. And I struggled a lot with being comfortable in the skin that I was in.
What do you say to women? Because you're in a situation now that you can say it is okay to not have to worry about all those things. Just look at what I've accomplished and look at me, and I am a beauty pageant queen. So what do you say to those women that had those same issues?
I really empathize with, in particular, young women and women in color, all women, but just because I am that was my experience. I really empathize with that demographic, if you will. And so just whatever I can say, however I can conduct myself to encourage them and to give them peace, inner healing, that's what I want to do, because I had to find it for myself so that I could exude beauty from the inside out. And that's really what it's all about. So.
We're going to talk more about that when we come back from our break, because that is where you have now emerged to from being that child in Kentucky to being here in Atlanta, and now your platform, it's so big that you can inspire a lot of full-figured young women with self-esteem issues to say, hey, I made it and you can make it too. We'll be right back with Emerging Beyond.
The work that I've done and the I guess volunteer hours that I've put in, passionate about seeing particularly women reclaim their worth, coming into understanding of their worth and value, and understanding that that's not to be taken for granted, that's not to be given away, and no matter their life circumstances, their value does not depreciate.
Welcome back. We're sitting here with Nicole Wilson, and going into the break, we saw the video with Miss Wilson talking to those following her on YouTube, and you were explaining about self-esteem and body issues. Now, those issues don't just affect women of plus size. I'm between a 6 and a 7 on an average, and even myself, if I'm getting I feel like I'm gaining a little bit more weight, then I feel a little insecure if I get a blemish on my face or something. What do you say to women as far as being comfortable in their own skin no matter what?
The same thing we said about our journey in terms of purity. It's a process, and you have to embrace the process wherever you are. If you're like on step 1, if you're on step 20, if you're in step 15, embracing your process, owning your truth, doesn't matter what size you are.
But a young girl doesn't know her truth yet. What do you say? You have your Renew My Soul Foundation, you have 100% Virgin. Those are designed to impact women. So tell us about each one.
Okay, so I would actually say that to a young lady. I would say that. The first steps would be owning your truth. And so let's see what it is. If you don't know your identity, if you don't know, you're confused about your purpose, if you feel fractured, broken, and you're not whole, those are the very tenets of what our movement is. So we are going to help guide you through that as you're journeying through purity. What does it mean to be pure?
Renew My Soul.
So Renew My Soul.
You started that to impact young women, women of all ages, actually. So tell us a little bit more about.
So Renew My Soul LLC is it is to encourage women and to celebrate women and just to get back to being whole. Everything to me is about being whole. If you can be whole, if you can pursue wholeness, if you can pursue your purpose, if you know your identity, then the better off you are in relationships, you know? So
the more comfortable you are in your own skin.
that is it.
And you can be comfortable being a virgin and not succumbing to the woes of peer pressure or what society now says is the norm. It used to be, back in the day, the norm would be preserve myself until marriage. And now it's just all out there to see.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 100% virgin.
Okay, so the movement. So again, like I said, the movement's tenets are encouraging, well, first of all, bringing awareness. You just mentioned some statistics. You know, the average person has had sex or some type of sexual encounter by 17. We talk about the society we live in, which is $1 billion industry built on porn alone.
Yes.
You know, things of this nature. Sex trafficking. You know, Atlanta is the hub for sex trafficking.
Yes, it is.
$1 million in sex trafficking.
Yes.
Yearly. So 100,000 reported cases of STDs per the CDC. So needless to say, there are some broken and fractured people, not to mention the sexual assaults, the abuse that happens according to the Department of Education. I believe it's 1 in 3 girls are assaulted or abused. So there is a lot of room for healing and understanding. Even though I've been fractured, even though I've been violated, maybe I violated myself. How do I get back to a place of wholeness and healing? How do I walk out purity? So we want to be able to, as a movement, insist in those first steps wherever people are in their process.
How does a young girl find out more about the movement?
Well, we definitely have a social media presence, and I'm trying diligently to do more interviews with people such as yourself. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to bring awareness about what we do. I actually do mentorship. I have mentees, and right now it's more one-on-one.
How are the girls coming along when you're mentoring them? Do you feel like the proud mom when you see them come from point A to point B?
I do. I love my babies. I have and I say baby, I have a 28-year-old that I've been in her life and mentoring since I think I met her at 14. And I'm just I'm so proud of her.
Wow.
So.
Wow. How did she find you?
Actually at church.
Wow.
I'm a poet. And so
I was going to ask you to see if you could bless us with something before we got off the air.
You're going to hold me on the spot?
Freestyle that thing.
I was a part of a ministry where I was the captain of a poetry group. So I was offering it to young people, and she was the first one she showed up, and that night she happened to be the only one that showed up. So it was like one of those God encounters. So I got to really get to know her and talk about her journey, and she was a virgin, and so we really just connected.
And that's how you know you're on the right path, because it doesn't matter if you impact one life or 100 lives. That one says, I did it.
Yeah.
I did what I'm supposed to do. That's wonderful, wonderful. I also read in your bio that you mentor to women that have been in the sex industry. How has that been?
You know what? If people say, how could she do that? She's never experienced it. But again, it goes back to just offering people first steps, even as a counselor.
How willing are they to open up to you? Because that's how they make their money. How willing are they?
People are starving, and they're so hungry for something that's new and refreshing. And I was a part of a ministry several years ago, and I really would love to get back to it. But where we would just go and we would just relate to people on a human level. You know, look them in the eyes, smile, give them gifts. Hey, how are you doing today? You know, would you like some prayer? How are your children? So it's really what it's all about, relating to people universally.
Being able to show them another way.
Yeah.
Outside of using their bodies as a tool to make money.
And
because
also
that leads to other things as well, but they have not healed like you have. They have not looked at the behind the scenes as to why they're hurting or why they're in this type of industry.
Because it was twofold. It was the exotic entertainment industry, but also prostitutes on the street. We really would.
You would literally go out and just walk up to them, and they were very receptive.
Yeah. I never forget, there was this one lady, I was on the street, and I got a chance to just, speak to her and ask if she want prayer, and we talked, and it was her birthday. She was on the street. and her name was Nicole.
Wow.
And I thought that was so significant, and I just got a chance to love her and tell her how much that God loved her. So
That's amazing. Do you ever see the people come back to you in some way, form, or fashion? Do they ever circle around and come back?
not to my knowledge. I haven't necessarily seen the ladies that I've worked with, not to my knowledge.
You will. I'm pretty sure you will. That crown is a crown of glory, so I'm sure you will see them come back. I think you are doing a wonderful job.
Another part of why this is so important to me and why my ministry and my movement is called 100% Virgin is that is my story. I am a 100% virgin. And many times in my life, I have shied away from sharing that part of my story because I didn't want to feel awkward. I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want to be rejected for fear of being different or being put somewhere up on a shelf and not to be touched and too fragile, whatever the case may be. All of the self-destructive thoughts that a person could have, I've had about that, oddly enough, because I know some people could look and say, wow, if I only had that part of me, if I could go back and keep that part of me or maintain that part of me, again, I would. And I understand that and I respect that, but that I have to own my truth, and that is my truth. I just shied away from telling that. And then it just took me to recently, the last couple of years, to really own my truth, to sit in my truth and to say, hey, I celebrate that. And it is to be celebrated. And I want to take that part of me and share it with other people in terms of my message of purity and say, hey, if you've been violated, talking about sexual purity in particular at the moment, if you didn't see your own worth, if you don't see your own worth, but if you're journeying back to the place of reclaiming that, guess what? You can reclaim that. And so those things are really important to me.
What do you want them to take away from the book?
Well, the subtitle says, and exactly that, is the purpose and the power of purity.
The power. We do have the power.
Yeah.
And when you're withholding that power,
Yeah.
you can pick and choose who you decide to release it to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's amazing. I think that's amazing. Summarize your life in just a few words of where you were to where you've emerged to now.
You know what? I was interviewing actually someone several years ago for a book that I'm writing, and it's going to come forth. I declare it. It has not yet, but anyway, I was interviewing her, and I never will forget the things she said to me because it's my mantra. I'm a beautiful mess. Good, bad, and ugly. It's mine, and I own it.
Well, there you have it. She owns it. And where can they follow you?
You can follow me, and it's long and it's spelled out, but it's worth it. It's 100% virgin. It's spelled out just like, that's like it sounds, 100% virgin. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, so please look us up and follow us.
I think it's good. You ever see the cartoons where Bart Simpson is just writing, and he's writing it over and writing it over? It just stays into your mind. Like, if I write it 100 times, I'll remember it.
Yeah.
So if you have that young girl and she's trying to find you and she's trying to write it out, she'll remember 100% virgin. What's next for you? More pageants?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe.
You said that was your first. Did you get bit by the bug?
I kind of caught the bug. I did.
You did?
I did.
Do you mind if I hold your crown? Can I hold your crown? Please.
It's heavy. Heavy's the crown she wears.
Well, I was reading, and Queen Elizabeth said hers literally almost broke her neck.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so heavy from the jewels. This actually is very heavy.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is beautiful. Are you ready? You're going to be giving this up in a few months. Are you going to be ready to do that?
But it's okay. I'm thankful for the door that it opened, and I just look for the next thing, next experience.
And what is the next thing for you?
Well, I have
Books?
books yet to write. I do. the sky is more than the limit to me. I'm just excited about every opportunity, and I'm going to seize every opportunity to get to share this message because it's important to me.
Have you already started looking at other pageants at least? Like I would literally be like, okay, well I conquered this one. I know the walk now. I know the pose.
I know.
I could get used to this. I am a queen.
And the funny thing about it is I always have an opportunity to come back to the system that I'm a part of. So in some capacity. So we'll see.
A judge?
We'll see what happens.
Or maybe you can teach someone else to walk.
I was appointed, chosen, and selected to represent the state of Georgia. First of all, my name is Nicole Wilson. Good evening. And I was, again, chosen, appointed, selected to represent the state of Georgia as Miss Plus America for 2018.
I think that is wonderful. I think that's wonderful, and I think you're a beautiful person. You have a great spirit. I just actually really, really admire your courage to share your story, to impact other women, and to be able to stand up there in front of all those people and then conquer this crown. I think it's wonderful.
I've come a long way.
That's what Emerging Beyond is about. It is actually about having something in your life. We all have a story. It's whether or not we choose to share it to impact someone's life, which is our motto at the beginning of the show. When you are given a testimony, that testimonial, as they say, history, that comes from someone's story, her story, history. And when you share that, you just never know whose life you're going to impact. That 28-year-old woman, you impacted her life. And it's wonderful. It really is. Well, we're going to thank you.
Thank you.
We hope to see you again. And I love this box
Thank
right
you
here.
so much.
Look at those shoes, that perfume. Hint, hint.
Sparkle and shine.
And you can also find, just real quick, we can also look at your videos on YouTube.
Please subscribe to the YouTube channel because I'm going to be making more videos that hopefully inspire and uplift women. So you can find us. It's actually the number 100, the sign % Virgin Movement.
Join that virgin movement if you are still a virgin. It is always good when you guys can come together and bounce ideas and thoughts off of each other so that you don't succumb to peer pressure.
One quick thing too, even if you're not a virgin, even if you're married, please join.
If you're married?
Support. Yes. I have married friends that have purchased my t-shirt and wear it proudly.
Wow.
So it's for everyone.
Well, I like that. When we come right back, we're going to close out the show.
We have categories in this pageant, which is the Miss and Mrs. Plus America pageant, established since 2003. They have categories for under 30 Miss, over 30 Miss, and then the Misses, the married ladies that are queening, okay?
Welcome back. We just heard powerful testimony from Nicole Wilson. She is the reigning Miss Georgia Plus America 2018. And her story of triumph was just so motivational. And to see a woman with such courage as well as beauty say she's still 39 years old and a virgin. Most of you would just be blown away by that. You would just think that a whole bunch of men are just continually coming to her because of her status and her platform. However, even though that may be the case, she has sat here and told us that she still maintained her purity, her power, and above all things, her strength. which says a lot to all of us. It is the will to still maintain who you are and live in your truth. Where we live in a society where our children, our teenagers, are exposed to so much via the social media platforms that are out there, and they're worried about followers and likes. 1,000 likes versus no likes. You want 1,000 likes. It's all about how many followers you have. And you'll see other women that are showcasing their bodies just to get likes and followers. What about that one little girl that says, I don't want to do that, and thinks that nobody likes her because she's only had one follower or one like? What do you say to that person? You do exactly what Nicole Wilson just did. You emerge beyond it and say, hey, I'm going to love me and live in my truth despite of what everyone else is doing. And that is a message from me to you. Sincerely, a seer. Thank you for tuning in to Emerge and Beyond. We look forward to seeing you on our next show. See you soon.